You're looking at attorney Kenneth Chesebro taking a plea deal ahead of his trial in the election interference case against former President Trump in Georgia.
That's right. After turning down a plea deal offered just last month, former Trump lawyer Kenneth Chesebro is singing a different tune this morning. He decided to take a plea deal just before this trial was going to begin. They were already picking jurors, and I guess he realized, oh yeah, I'm the guy who sent around the memo that literally said fake electors. That was a little bit of a problem. That's damning evidence, isn't it? Maybe I should take the plea deal. So he's now the third co-defendant in the Fulton County case to take a plea deal after the Kraken herself, Sidney Powell, did the same just yesterday. So if you're unfamiliar with Mr. Chesebro, and yes, some people like to pronounce it Chesebro, but why would you do that? You should know that this doofus was in fact a key player in Trump's fake elector scheme and basically admitted to the crime while he was committing it. Per a report from the Arizona Mirror, an unnamed co-conspirator in the case, identified in the indictment only as co-conspirator 5, wrote a memo on December 6th titled Fraudulent Elector Memo, and one on December 9th titled Fraudulent Elector Instructions, both named Nevada as a contested state. And since then, we have learned that Chesebro is in fact co-conspirator 5. The memo described the push to send pro-Trump electors to Congress, even in states won by Biden, as a way to preserve Trump's chances to prevail in post-election legal battles. But as January 6th approached, Chesebro also noted that the existence of the false electors could be used to provoke challenges to the outcome by pro-Trump members of Congress and potentially flip the outcome even without a legal victory. So what does this plea deal mean? Obviously, when you take a plea deal and you skirt any jail time, it means that you have agreed to testify against the other co-defendants in the case. And he has in fact agreed to do that. Now he has pleaded guilty to 1 felony count of conspiracy to file false documents. 6 other felony charges were dropped as a condition of this plea deal. Prosecutors said in court that Chesebro acknowledged in the plea that he created and distributed false electoral college documents to Trump operatives in Georgia and other states, and that he worked in coordination with the Trump campaign. It's quite an admission, and I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of testimony he provides in this case. Now, he was given a sentence, 3 to 5 years of probation, depending on his behavior, so no jail time, a $1,000 fine, $5,000 in restitution to the state of Georgia. He apparently already wrote an apology letter to the state of Georgia. He has to do 100 hours of community service. And he also promised again that he will testify truthfully against any other co-defendants in the case. Now, final important point to make about this before I go to you, Brett. He had a little bit of difficulty raising money for his legal defense. Even with that sick name, he just couldn't get the recognition he needed to crowdfund. And so let's take a look at how much money he raised. He was looking to raise $200,000. But about a week ago, he had raised a whopping $20. And then we checked in on that fundraising effort once more, and he increased that amount by a lot, $5. So he raised like $25 for his legal defense. Probably realized considering the evidence and the lack of resources I have to defend myself, maybe I should take the plea deal. And I think he made the right decision. What do you think, Brett?
It's not easy being Cheese. The Cheese was standing alone. Essentially, here is just the overall timeline of this. And I know because we were planning on doing gavel to gavel coverage and one way or another, seeing what that it would entail for this. So shout out to producer Marissa Matthews, who found out everything about this trial that just dissolved. Sidney Powell and Chesebro basically severed from the massive group of the indicted co-conspirators, and we're going to have a speedy trial ahead of time. As they just get into that trial process. There were 2 days of jury selection. They were going to interview 450 up to 900 different people to be on the jury. And as that got closer and closer, it seems like they were negotiating more and more for better terms. Chesebro now becomes the only person so far to plead guilty to a felony of the 3 people that have flipped against Trump, including Sidney Powell. It is absolutely just Like, I don't know what they thought they could get away with. I wonder if, looking back on it, that initial instinct to get a speedier trial was more of a signal than anything else that they were willing to play ball. But this was supposed to start November 3rd. That was when the trial was supposed to start in earnest, according to the judge. And now it's unnecessary. Does that bring up the beginning of the Trump other co-conspirators, the like 20 of them that are being tried? I don't know. There's more to come. But we are monitoring it at TYT Investigates and TYT Specials.
So even if the testimony provided by Sidney Powell and Kenneth Chesebro isn't as damning as we think it might be for Donald Trump, them taking the plea deal actually does hurt the defense of Donald Trump and the other co-conspirators, because their trials were supposed to happen first. And that was going to give the other defense attorneys the ability to see what the prosecutorial strategy was, what kind of evidence they had. And so this is a win for those who want justice to be served, for the individuals who really do not care about our democratic process and wanted to undermine the will of the American people. Listen, to me, this is not a partisan issue. I know people want to make it partisan, but if the Biden administration tried to engage in this garbage, I would be just as furious about it. The thing that we have going for us is our democracy and our ability to voice how we feel and how we want our government to be run through elections. Destroying that, or allowing your preferred politician to destroy that, if any of you, Trump supporters are watching this right now, it just destroys the country, and you got to run better candidates. I think Trump's lack of popularity became clearer during the midterm elections. It became clearer in the speakership elections that have been happening in the House of Representatives, with Trump's preferred individuals getting voted down, like Jim Jordan. So I don't know. I don't know how it's all going to play out for the 2024 election. But one thing I will say is that you should watch this final video before we wrap this up.
Wang Jun wrote in, "You gotta do what you gotta do to get that money, Chesebro." You guys are too good, man. Not a Dragon wrote in $20. Does that make him cheese broke? And he's like, "This one's for Cenk."
We got him on his breeze.
Oh, his defense is like Swiss cheese. It's okay. Okay, I gotta work on that, Chesebro.
But he does need that cheddar to defend himself.
There you go.
We like cheese. You're welcome, everyone.
If you enjoyed this video, that's because of our members. They make us independent, they make us strong, and they make us honest. Become a member today by hitting the join button below.